Center to Edge Aiming Banking Series, Video 1. Welcome to my CTE Banking Series. I'm going to make 8 or 10 videos, bank videos. I'll be using CTE so that I can help you along with your banking skills using CTE. And a theme or a thread that is going to run through the entirety of the series will be that of working with the sight line for the given shot. For the shot that's going to be the shot for this opening video is going to be a dead bank to this pocket. Now, I want you to set it up as to what you perceive as being a dead bank or even a slight cut to the left. You know, just please guard against making it a slight cut to the right. I'd like for us to all be consistent with left edge to A, center cue ball to right object ball, SP15. So this is the SP15, one dot past the quarter line here, marker. So a first principle when learning to bank with CTE is to understand that you do not have to make an adjustment physically or visually when you use slow speeds. Now, what is slow for one shot might not be exactly slow for another shot because there's a wide range of what's slow. You have finesse slow, and then you just have some slow shots that work all the way up to the medium speed shots. So think in terms of what's appropriate for a given shot, but the idea is to understand that slow speeds are conducive to no adjustments. Now when I say no adjustment to the sight line and no adjustment to the bridge feed. So we're going to be focusing on working the sight line. So for this 15 outside, left cue ball edge to object ball A, center cue ball to right object ball SP15. Now when I step the cue ball, I've got a dead bank. So I can go right down on that line, which means I'm not going to change the sight line. But what's critical is that even if I'm using disguised pivoting, the sight line is in the background and it has not been disturbed. There's been no adjustment to it. Now, if you're going to use Pro 1, you're going to have to do all your work up here. Your head turned to the left, and then when you sweep down, your head is going to unangle. If you're going to use basic CTE, you go down on the sight line with your bridge V and your cue to the outside, step the cue ball. The sight line is not adjusted. Now from here, it's just a slow shot. What's important to know is that we want this ball rolling into the rail. If it's sliding into the rail, for example, it has a tendency to shorten up. So working with slow speeds, it's not always ideal when you're banking the ball because good bank players like to hit them firmer because the rails tend to be more consistent when you're playing firm shots when you're banking. But there's always two shots to every bank shot: banking the ball and controlling the ball. So some shots you just have to shoot softly. Some you have to shoot harder. Some you have to use spin with. So so just a little punch shot here doesn't require any adjustment to anything. It's just an appropriate speed. If I were to crank that ball up into some kind of a warp type speed, it's gonna shorten up. If I shoot it just super soft, I can lose the cue ball and it's just the object ball, and just open up into this rail. So Now if I want to follow the ball, that's okay. I just have to be real careful with my, my stroke and such. Maybe that's where I need the cue ball. Now also friendly to this shot, and there's no adjustment, it is a nice medium draw shot. The backspin on this ball has a tendency to let this ball roll nicely, as long as you don't crank it up. So the draw shot here, maybe your play is to bring it into the rail and out here. When you're playing good bank players, you can't beat them making one ball at a time. You have to move the cue ball around so that you can get position to continue your run. So now, all the shots that we shot to this point, the sight line has not been changed. We're working with that principle of, basically shooting a slow shot, a slow speed. So if we want to hit the ball harder, it's going to shorten up. So this is a dead bank. I'm going to hit it with speed and it's going to miss right over here. So now we can take that knowledge of how that ball shortens up with a hard speed and use it to get the cue ball up table a bit. So what I'm going to do is diminish the sight line. I'm going to move it over here toward the 1/8 part of the object ball, and I'm just going to use a center cue ball right above the equator, and I'm going to diminish the sight lines. I'm going to cut that ball. Maybe I need to miss a ball on the rail right here. Maybe there's an edge of it that's in my way. Or maybe I just need to move the cue ball up here. So with a dead bank like this, it's hard to get the cue ball up here. So there's the diminished sight line. So that was almost a dead bank, but I was able to move the cue ball up here to move my cue ball into a place to continue my run. Now, if I want to, also there's another advantage. When you cut this ball and hit it with speed, you're coming in at a flatter angle. That flatter angle sometimes can produce a bend, and it actually just works its way into the pocket a lot more effectively than it would if it were coming from this angle. This flatter angle with speed it is a friendlier angle for entering into the pocket. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and put some top on it and cut it, and this ball is going to bend a bit, and this way I can use this rail to send the cue ball to. So that's just about a dead bank. So I'm moving the sight line out to here. I'm going to use speed. Okay, so I've got a pretty good cut on that ball actually. So all I'm doing is working the sight line. I want you to learn to work the sight line. That was from pretty much a dead bank. Now, this next shot, I'm going to use just a little bit of spin. This is just a principle here. I'm going to use a little bit of low outside spin with a little bit of an elevated cue, and I'm going to take the SP15 sight line and I'm going to back it up 1/16 of an inch. And I'm not going to slam the ball. If I do, it's going to come up short. So these shots are speed sensitive. So I'm going to go down. There's my adjusted sight line by 1/16 of an inch. I'm elevated. I'm about a half a tip low outside. That's a very popular shot. Now if I want to put more spin on it, and when we get to some different shots, I'm going to be showing you some 9-ball strokes that you use for bank. And these shots that I'm shooting now will make more sense when I get into some of the other shots. But if I want to add some spin to this and turn it into a 9-ball stroke to where I'm really forcing my wrist through the ball, I'm going to instead of augmenting the sight line by 1/16 of an inch, I'm going to diminish over here toward the 1/8 of an object ball. So okay, I've finned the shot up, and I've got some low right spin on it, quite a bit more than I had for this 1/16 of adjustment. So in my mind, what I'm doing is I know there's going to be some deflection here, even though I'm elevated and I have some low outside on it. And sometimes when that happens, the swerve and the deflection tend to cancel out a little bit. But the deflection, I'm not going to be able to override the deflection here. I'm playing with a regular shaft, and I love to be able to work the cue ball around with deflection. This is a Steve Lomax shaft, and I'm in love with it. So I'm going to put a little more spin on this ball, but in order to do so, I'm going to have to diminish the sight line. So what I'm wanting you to do is to work that video camera. Stop it, start it, stop it, start it, set up the shots, make some notes, do a study, and watch your understanding of how to bank really improve, especially with the use of CTE. You know, a major beauty in CTE is you have that sight line to work with over and over and over. I don't care what shot it is. So I'm teaching you to use that sight line. Now, another shot, and this is the toughest one of the bunch, and this is the last one we're going to do on this opening video. This is a dead bank, and this is a tough one. It might even take me a time or two to make this one. It's a little tougher because I'm using a lot of inside spin. So if I use inside spin, the ball is going to deflect that way. So I'm going to augment the sight line almost down here to the core of the ball. And I'm going to be cutting the ball thin, and the reverse spin on the ball is going to help to shorten it up. So let's see what happens on this shot. So I had a lot of inside on that shot. So I think we'll close this opening video up with that shot. So just a quick recap. You're going to bank this ball cross corner with just a little punch shot, a little follow shot, using soft speeds. You're going to draw the ball just to the rail and out. Still no adjustment. Then you're going to take it and you're going to go with a center cue ball right above the equator to where you're sort of stunning it up table a little bit. And you're going to overcut it. You're going to overcut this one, bank it here, and then use follow and do the same thing. Overcut it. And play it with speed, and then use the 1/16 of an inch adjustment to the sight line for a little bit of low outside, and then use a lot of low outside, and then diminish the sight line, And then the one that I just shot, a lot of inside. You're moving the sight line to 2/3 of the way to the core of the ball, and then you speed. So there's some advanced stuff here, but one of the beauties of CTE, and I've done this for years when I'm working with students that come in here that are a little bit new to CTE, I can have them to set up a bank shot and show them what to look at and how to align, and they make the shot. Not only did they make it, but they understood what to look at and how to align to it. So that's the beauty of CTE, is that these things can be explained. The aim line, the sight line, the stepping, the adjustments that occur to the sight line or not. So do your homework, work with these shots, and build up a little bit of success with what I have here, and then I'll roll out video 2 for this banking series. Thank you very much.